صدق الله صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين والمتين الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator, the nourisher, the sustainer, the provider of the entire universe. And thousands of peace, blessings, salutations, salawat, salam be upon the most noble and beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Regarding whom I have Sayyidi wa Murshidi ala Hazrat Imam Muhammad Raza Khan very beautifully says, wo jo na the to kuch na tha, wo jo na ho to kuch na ho.
Subhanallah.
Jaan hai wo jahan ki, jaan hai tu jahan. MashaAllah, dua to one and all on the arrival of this blessed day of Eid al-Adha. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our sacrifices, our Qurbani in His exalted court. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the Hajj of those fortunate personalities who have left or who have performed the Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Hajj al-Mabrur, Hajj al-Maqbool. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through their sadaqah enable us also to visit the beautiful cities of Makkah al-Mukarramah and Madinah al-Munawwarah. The day of Eid, the entire Hajj, everything is related to the beloveds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The entire festival of Eid al-Adha and the entire Hajj, all the rituals, all the rites of Hajj, everything is related to the beloveds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Sayyida Hajira radiyallahu ta'ala anha, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, who are all these people? The beloveds of Allah, am I right? You are understanding what I'm saying now? If you understand, say Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
Every Subhanallah you say what happens?
Subhanallah. One,
Allah
three.
Ta'ala. Yeah, after a very long time, na? So I expect everyone to say Subhanallah loudly. Loudly say Subhanallah. Raise your hands and say Subhanallah. So Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, Sayyida Hajra, who are all these people? The beloveds of Allah, am I right?
Beshak.
Yeah, the beloveds of Allah. Allah speaks about them in the Holy Quran. Allah loves them. So this entire festival of Eid al-Adha, the entire festival of Hajj, is evolving around the beloveds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somebody said, Munasab, why do you always speak about the beloveds of Allah? Why do you always speak about the awliya? Why do you always speak about the anbiya? Just speak about Allah, it is sufficient. I said, take the beloveds of Allah away from Islam and you will have no Islam remaining with you. Remove the beloveds of Allah, there is no Islam. Hajj is because of the beloveds of Allah. Ramadan is because of the beloveds of Allah. The Quran is because of the beloved of Allah. The Ummah is because of the beloved of Allah. I said, take away the beloveds of Allah, there is no Islam remaining. That's how important the beloveds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the beloveds of Allah, they have a quality with them. The more close you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more beloved you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more tests you receive from the court of Allah. The more close you are, the more tests. Jitne qareeb, utne hi zyada imtihan. That is why Nabi Sallallahu mentioned in the summary of the hadith that amongst all the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people who were tested the most is the Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The entire creation, and those who were tested the most, they went through the most difficulties, are the Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they are the closest to Allah. And then my Nabi said, from amongst all the Anbiya, the person who was tested the most is Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you look at the life of my beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will see from A to Z, lots of difficulties, lots of tests from the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Different battles, different occasions, different incidents, and you will see the amount of tests my beloved went through. After Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the person who is the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone knows? Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Subhanallah.
The person who is the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's why he is called Khalilullah. And Khalil doesn't mean friend. Waliullah means friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khalil means the closest friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he wasn't given the title the friend of Allah. Allah said, no, he is my closest friend. That's how much Allah Ta'ala loves Ibrahim alayhi salam. When there is so much love, then you must know the test is also going to be a lot. Lots of tests from the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So look at the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and from his life, one lesson I'm going to leave you with today, inshallah. The incident of Qurbani, many of us heard many times. You know, Ibrahim is slaughtering Ismail on the place a ram came from Jannah and he slaughtered the ram. That all of us know. But the lesson which we learn from the life of Ibrahim and Islam, that I want to share with you today. As Ibrahim alayhi salam went to a person called Namrud. Everyone heard this name before? A king of his time. Discussions took place, a debate took place between Ibrahim alayhi salam and Namrud. And this was the shortest debate in the history of Islam. Namrud said, I am your God, Ma'adallah. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, my Lord is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah. Bishak.
Namrud said, what is the qualities of your Lord? Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran mentions this. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Rabbi alladhi yuhyi wa yumeet. My Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that Zat, that personality who gives life and causes death. The Namrud was an idiotic person, person who didn't have any akal, any intellect. The Namrud said, I can also give life and cause death. Those sitting in the back, if you can come a bit forward, the brothers standing at the door, then they can inshallah join us. If everyone can please come a bit forward, be a bit considerate inshallah, so they can also join us. Jazakallah. So the Namrud said, I can also give life and cause death. So he called two people. One person was supposed to be sentenced to death. He was supposed to be hanged. The other person was a free person. Namrud said, the person who is free, sentence him to death. And the one who was supposed to be hanged, set him free. Vice versa, swap it. And Namrud said, see, the person who was supposed to die, I gave him life. The person who was alive, I caused him to die. Ibrahim alayhi salam understood that Namrud is a person who doesn't have intellect. I'm speaking about giving life, creating someone, and destroying someone. He is taking a different meaning. So Ibrahim alayhi salam gave one more quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't say to Namrud that what you are saying is correct, I accept what you are saying. If he would have said that, then in other words, he was accepting what Namrud has done, and that would be a problem from him. So this is also an art of debate. That's why they say debating is not everyone's cup of tea. You can't go and expect every person to have a debate. Today on social media, you find every person standing up and saying, I want to debate with so-and-so person, I want to debate with so-and-so person. Debating is not everyone's cup of tea. You end up saying the wrong thing and you lose your iman. So when Namrud said, I can give life and cause death, Ibrahim Islam didn't testify. He said, listen, Allah Ta'ala has one more beautiful quality. And that quality is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala causes the sun to rise every morning from the east. Every morning the sun rises from the east. Allah Ta'ala said, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Namrud, what you do is cause the sun to rise from the west.
Allahu Akbar.
My Allah Ta'ala's shan is that He makes the sun rise from the east. So you bring the sun from the west. The Quran says, فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. Now Namrud became dumbfounded. No answer he had. When he had no answer, now he was insulted in front of everyone. He gave an order. Put a huge fire and put Ibrahim alayhi salam in the fire. This all of us heard many a times. Huh? The fire was so huge that if a bird was flying over the sky, that bird would become burnt and roasted because of the effects of the fire. That's how huge this fire was. Let the fire, Ibrahim alayhi salam was put in a cannon, a machine type, because the fire was so hot they couldn't go close and put him in the fire. They had to throw him from far, tie him up with ropes, and they put him inside that cannon. Now comes the beautiful part. Ibrahim Islam was inside that cannon about to be thrown into the fire. The angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started looking at this scenario and they made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, what is this incident? Your beloved of Allah is going to be thrown in fire? The Hur of Jannah, they became worried. What is this happening? Angels went in the court of Allah, Ya Allah, give us ijazat, let us go to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah knew what is the condition of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He said, go. So first the angels of the wind came to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Alamul Hasanat mentioned this in his book. The angels of the wind came first. O Ibrahim, I am the leader of the angels of the wind. Give me one hukum. I will command the wind to blow this fire and all the flames will end up in the palace of Namrud. Him, his palace, his people, everything will be burned to ashes. Nothing will happen to you. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, the matter is between the beloved and me. The matter is between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and me. So you move away. Don't disturb the beloved. Don't disturb myself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This connection between us shouldn't be disturbed. Angels of the rain came. O Ibrahim, I am the leader of the angels of the rain. Give me one order. I will command these angels to shower so much rain from the sky, the fire will be extinguished. There will be no fire. Nothing is going to happen to you. Give me one hukum. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Khallu bayni wa bayna habibi. Leave me and my beloved alone.
Subhanallah.
Angels of the earth came. O Ibrahim, I am the leader of the angels of the earth. Give me one order, and I will cause this earth to suck all the people of Namrud with Namrud himself. All of them will be buried in the ground. There will be no sign of these disbelievers. Give me one order. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Khallu bayni wa bayna habibi. Leave me and my beloved. After all the angels came, now Sayyidul Malaika, leader of the angels, Jibreel alayhi salam came to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ya Jibreel, hal laka min hajatin? I have no Sayyidul Malaika. Every angel came with their quality. O Ibrahim, I am the owner of the rain. I am the owner of the earth. I am the owner of the winds. Jibreel came. He is the leader of the Malaika. No? All angels are under him. So he didn't say, O Ibrahim, give me an order to do one specific action. He came with an unconditional command. O Ibrahim, hal laka min hajatin? Do you have any need from Jibreel? I am going to fulfill your need. Any need. You want me to command the wind? I will command the winds. You want me to command the rain? I will command the rain. You want me to command the earth? I will command the earth. You want me to command the mountains? I will command the mountains. Anything. Give me any need of yours. Hal laka min hajatin? Ibrahim Islam looked towards Jibreel Islam. Look at the situation. About to be thrown in fire. The leader of the angels is coming and asking, do you need anything? Ibrahim Islam looked towards him and said, Amma ilayka falah. Any need from you? Then no. I have a need, but from you? No. Jibreel Islam said, Ibrahim, the one whom you need from, at least ask him. I am giving you, I am offering you. You said you don't want help from me. The one who you need help from, at least ask him. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "Ilmuhu bihali hasbi min sawali." The one who I need, before I even needed him, he knew of my situation.
Subhanallah.
The one who I need, before I even needed him, he knew my situation. He knew what state I am in. He knows what state I am in. He knows what is my condition. He knows the matter of my heart. There is no need to express my desire in front of him. There is no need to ask him. There is no need to tell him anything. The angels in the court of Allah said, Ya Allah, look at your Ibrahim. So beloved he is, that now he is about to be thrown in fire. But his tawakkul, his trust is so unique that even at this moment, he is not asking you for anything. Even at this moment, he is not saying anything. Jibreel said, Oh Ibrahim, listen, don't express anything from your mouth. Don't express anything, but at least make dua in the court of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, if Allah wants me to be burnt, then the beloved is readily accepting the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angel said, Ya Allah, look at your beloved. What is he about to do? The mercy of Allah came in Josh. Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown in the fire. Allah ta'ala said, Ya Nar, Kuni bardan wa salamun ala Ibrahim. O fire, your duty is to burn, but now my hukum is, my order is, become cold and become peace for my Ibrahim alayhi salam. Kuni bardan wa salamun ala Ibrahim. Become cold, become peaceful upon Ibrahim alayhi salam. As Abdullah bin Abbas says, if Allah ta'ala shouldn't have said salam, become peaceful for Ibrahim, the fire would become so cold that Ibrahim alayhi salam would leave this world physically. That's how cold the fire would have become. Allah said, oh fire, become cold, become peaceful for Ibrahim alayhi salam. What lesson do you learn from this? Tawakkul. Trust upon the Zat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Trusting upon the Zat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever the situation is, Ibrahim alayhi salam is about to be thrown in fire. At that moment, his heart is, no, I must still have tawakkul. Allah ta'ala knows what is my situation. I have trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ulama ikram say, you have trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala is that Zat that he takes out Yusuf alayhi salam from a well and he makes him the king of Misr. Allah Ta'ala is that Zat that he takes out Yunus alayhi salam from the whale of his stomach and brings him alive and put him on the earth. Allah Ta'ala is that Zat when Musa alayhi salam makes dua, he opens the sea and he makes a way for Musa alayhi salam. Allah Ta'ala is that Zat, if you have trust upon him, then the fire which is hot, he makes it cold for Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Subhanallah.
So if you all listen, the tawakkul, the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one last point I want to mention for you. As Ibrahim alayhi salam, we all know took Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam to slaughter on the day of Eid. And this incident took place in Mina. In Mina, where the Hujjaj stay. This is where the incident took place. As Ibrahim alayhi salam took Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam to slaughter him, and he told Sayyidah Hajra, I'm taking Ismail alayhi salam, there is an invitation from my friend. A da'wat came from my friend, and that is why I want to take my son. The da'wat was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to sacrifice your son. When Ibrahim alayhi salam left, Shaitan came in the form of a human to Sayyidah Hajra. I said, do you know where Ibrahim went? She said, no. She said, yes, he went for an invitation to his friend's house or to his friend. Shaitan said, no. He went to slaughter his son, Ismail. Sayyidah Hajra said, why would he do that? He loves his son so much. His son is his beloved. Only one beautiful son he has from me, so he loves the son a lot. Shaitan said, no. The issue is he saw a dream, and he thinks this dream is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The moment Shaitan said that, Sayyidah Hajra said, if the hukum is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then leave one Ismail, I can sacrifice 1,000 Ismails in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan said, yahan to kaam nahi bana. He ran and he went towards Ismail alayhi salam. Oh Ismail, do you know where your father is taking you? No. He's taking me for an invitation. Shaitan said, no, there is no invitation. Your father wants to slaughter you. Ismail said, why won't he slaughter me? Shaitan said, because Ibrahim saw a dream and he thinks the dream is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why he wants to slaughter you. Ismail said, if the hukum came from the court of Allah, not one Ismail, 1,000 Ismail will sacrifice in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan said, yahan kaam nahi bana. He went to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Oh Ibrahim, you know where you're taking your son? Yes, I'm taking him to slaughter him. Why are you taking him to slaughter him? I saw a dream in which the hukum came. Shaitan said, that dream was from Shaitan. It wasn't from Allah. You are believing Shaitan, you want to sacrifice your son. Ibrahim alayhi salam understood this is shaitan. He said, oh shaitan, move away from here. The hukum came from Allah. If the hukum is from Allah, not one Ismail, 1,000 Ismails I will sacrifice in the path of Allah. All three of them have the same belief that not 1,000 I will sacrifice. Shaitan saw that now I'm not going to, nothing is going to happen. Yet he left and he went. Ibrahim Islam tried. Ibrahim Islam took Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, said, now I'm going to slaughter you. The hukum came from the court of Allah. Ismail alayhi salam said, yeah, oh my father, I have 3 wishes. First wish, tie my hands properly and put my head on the ground. Tie my hands properly and put my head on the ground. So when you are slaughtering me, I shouldn't move my hands. If I move my hands, the blood is going to splash. If the blood splashes, your clothes are going to be in abak. Oh my father, I cannot accept that your clothes must be dirty with my blood.
Allah.
And put my head on the ground. Why? So my face must rub with the dust. So when I go in the court of Allah, Allah Ta'ala must be pleased that Ismail put his face on the ground. So much humility he has, so much humbleness he has shown. That's why I am making Ismail my beloved. Second condition of my father, put a blindfold on your eyes. So you mustn't see. Why? Because while slaughtering, if you look towards my face, if you look towards my body, and in your heart you are a father, you will have love in your heart. And if you have that love in your heart, then maybe you will not sacrifice. I do not want myself to become a hurdle between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And third wish and desire of my father, when you go home, then take my shirt with blood and go to my mother. But don't just break the news to her. Put her down, tell her slowly and calmly, and then explain to her this was the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why you slaughtered me. It wasn't any personal desire. I don't want my mother to feel any heart, any taklif in her heart. These 3 wishes, Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam had Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah with a heavy heart, he put Ismail alayhi salam down and he ran the knife. Nothing happened. This we all know, no? But how many times he ran the knife? One time he ran the knife, nothing happened. Second time he ran the knife, nothing happened. Third time he ran the knife, nothing happened. 70 times Ibrahim alayhi salam ran the knife on the neck, on the nape of Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. Every time nothing happened. 70 times. It was as if Ibrahim alayhi salam is telling the knife, oh knife, why aren't you slaughtering? And the knife replied, oh Ibrahim, one side is you, the other side is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are saying I must slaughter. Allah is saying don't slaughter. You are saying I must slaughter. Allah is saying don't slaughter. Oh Ibrahim, what must I do? I will give preference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My job is to cut. But this is that Allah. The job of fire was to burn, but the fire became cold. My job is to cut, but I am not going to cut. This is the hukum of Allah. After 70 times, when the knife didn't slaughter, Allah Ta'ala sent a ram and said, oh Ibrahim, what you saw in your dream was successful. What you saw in your dream was haq. I sent you the dream, but now you became successful. Now you became my beloved. Now you became successful in this world and in the hereafter.
Subhanallah.
Here also tawakkul. Trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah gave me the order, I am going to sacrifice. I will do everything because I am the bondsman of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran, my beloved say, Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. Oh my beloved say to the entire ummah, my salah, my sacrifice, my life, my death, everything is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the matter comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then as a Muslim, as a believer, your duty is to put everything in the court of Allah. Nothing belongs to you. Nothing is your property, your wealth, your life, your mal, everything must go in the court of Allah because you and everything belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The moment you can adopt this tawakkul, this trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah, you will see the fire will become cold for you as well. The knife whose job is to cut will not cut for you as well. Your matters will open and you will see how successful you will become. The main thing is tawakkul. Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. The one who puts his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is sufficient for him. If Allah is sufficient for you, then nothing can happen to you in this world and the hereafter. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.